No one likes to be greeted with a wall of products that all looks the same. Many merchants turn to a navigation menu or a mega menu to provide some clarity. In today's conversation, I am going to walk you through a new approach, one that can be powerfully used and integrated into a website. Very easy to do, but also being a good hybrid complement to this whole idea of a navigation menu. I call it the category drill down. This is actually based off of research done by a very intelligent person who did some research about 20 years ago. And we're going to talk about her findings here in just a second. Let's jump in. Almost 20 years ago, Sheena Iyengar facilitated a study about how we treat choice in our lives. How does it affect our buying decisions? And this is highly relevant even today, 20 years later. So she worked with a supermarket and they created this stand, kind of like what you see at Costco, where, hey, come in and try one of these jam type that you put a spread on your toast for breakfast in the morning. One of these stands had 24 choices of jam. And this is in one of those supermarkets that had a ton of choices. More the better, right? Well, so 24 jams to give a try. And then at a later time, she created one with a quarter of that number, 6. So which one had better engagement and which one had better sales? Well, interestingly enough, the one that has 24 jars of jam actually had more people come up to it. 60% of people stopped at that spot and they wanted to give it a taste test. Whereas with the 6, only 40% of people stopped. Now, here's where it gets interesting. With the 24 samples available, only 3% bought a jar of jam. But with the 6 jars of jam exhibit, only 30%, over 6 times the amount people purchased from that with the 6 jars. So this was a eye-opening experience that, yes, people like options, but they don't like too many options. And so in today's conversation, we're going to look at how we can help customers get to their destination faster with less frustration along the way. Let's take a look at what I consider to be an excellent example of this fact demonstrated right here. Check this out. Himaway makes e-bikes. In fact, all of our conversation today is going to revolve around e-bikes. Based out of California, well, of course, they make e-bike, as you can guess here. This is the typical route. And as I was researching in this specific category here for our conversation today, I saw example after example that was implementing it like this, utilizing the navigation menu, which works. It's fine. It's a good option. What we have here is situations where a search engine brings a visitor to this page. Somebody clicks this e-bikes link right here, and they don't necessarily want to drop down into a menu quite yet. They just want to take browsing from a little bit higher perspective. And if we were to greet them with this massive wall of products like you see right here, and I just skipped the most important part of the page to give you this demonstration, they would be frustrated. They're like, what's the difference? Okay, this one looks beefier, and this one, maybe there's a crossbar difference. It's step over versus not. It becomes very difficult to try to quickly determine the differences between these. Versus if we could filter it down, well, first, we are winning. And so that's where bringing in this idea of the category drill down becomes powerful. So I'm coming back up here on the page and we have these 5 categories. First, they're engaging. It's concrete, something that we can see, we can appreciate. This person is clearly writing in the city. This person is clearly writing not in the city. Versus if you were to go up and look at this menu list right here, you see just a list of bikes. For some of us, we can kind of tell the difference between their application, but at the end of the day, it still is trying to filter out what's for me, what's not for me. Versus by application right here, could not be any clearer. This is the category drill down in action. Okay, I'd like to get mountain bikes. I drop into here and I can now see my list of mountain bikes right here available for me. I know that these are products that interest me. I can now click back, and this is an underutilized aspect of a navigation menu. You can't click back. Navigation menus in this case are very flat. They work when there's not a ton of products, but as soon as we start needing some hierarchy here, and I'm arguing for the fact that hierarchy is beneficial in almost every situation, this navigation menu starts breaking down. It becomes difficult to help customers find what they're looking for. So yes, we have e-bikes, but what if we need to drop down into another category below that? And I'm actually going to list an example here in the article that is associated with this here, link in the description below. I'm going to show you exactly what an example of this would look like and how this would be laid out in tools like Shopify and BigCommerce. This is really important. And a couple of questions that you might be asking is, should I simplify my navigation menu if I am using a category drill down. I suggest you experiment with this. The category drill down is not a replacement for quality navigation menus, and quality navigation menus are not a replacement for a quality category drill down system. The good news is category drill down is super easy to implement, and they can work side by side. You can have your navigation menu do part of it, but making sure those links, all links in the navigation menu are clickable. So at each level of this hierarchy, those are clickable. Take people there. If nothing else, it also helps people on mobile devices, right? So as they're clicking through this, they might not want to make that final decision of what they're looking for right now. They want to get the bigger picture. And by doing this route with the category drill down, it allows you to give your customers a bigger picture, which helps them win in the long run. It makes them feel like they're in control, but giving them these one bite at a time pieces of control so that they understand how the website works, how to find the right product on your website. So again, I have this information here on the website, eCom Buzz. Feel free to check it out with all the information here. Link is in the description below, and I hope you found this helpful.